We hear in our gospel today something that might be kind of relatable, not having time to eat, just kind of forgetting about it, just being so busy that you just kind of forget to do certain things in your life that perhaps, really shouldn't be something that you forget about. Whether it's, eating or whatever all else, sometimes our lives can just be so crazy, so full that we just completely forget about that load of laundry or forget to eat lunch or forget to whatever it might be, forget whatever chore. We're just so swamped sometimes that we just forget about these sort of basic things. And so Jesus, sort of recognizing that, people were coming and going in great numbers, and they had no opportunity even to eat because of just how busy these things were, and the apostles needed this time of rest. So he took them and he said, "Come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while." Come away by yourselves in a deserted place. Come away by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. We all need time for rest. Our sort of culture that we live in has this sort of go, work. Got your distractions on your phones or whatever else. We're always just inundated by all of this stuff. It can be hard to have a time to just rest, to just be. That's one of the things that's so important about the Sabbath, about Sunday, making it a day of rest, a day where we don't do any unnecessary work, because we just need time to be able to rest. Not just to sort of physically rest our bodies, but time to be able to rest in the Lord, rest in Him by worshiping Him at Mass, and just make Sunday a day where we are able to have that time to recharge our batteries. But we shouldn't think of rest as sort of just this recharging our batteries so that we can go back to the grind on Monday. We don't rest for the sake of working. We work so that we can have that time of rest. The end goal is that time of rest, that time of recreation, that time of being with God. It's not that we have this time of God so that we can have this end goal of going back to work, if that makes sense, So to always have this mindset of we're working for the weekend, so to speak. We're working for those times of rest. We're working for those times of being able to rest with God, to be with Him. And to not just have rest mean something like, we're just not doing anything, but to have time to just be with God, to be with the Lord, Married couples perhaps can relate that, there can be times where, you're just not doing anything in the house and you're with your spouse and, okay, there's that. But there's times of just being with your spouse where you're not doing anything, just, sitting next to them on the couch, just being with them. And there's something about, even if you're not doing anything, if you're not talking or whatever, just you're reading next to each other, whatever it might be, just being with each other in that moment, there's that bond of love that's there. And so taking the time to have this rest, this time to just be with God each and every day, most especially on Sunday, but having these times that are set apart in our day to just rest, to be with God, to help recharge ourselves spiritually is very important, Not to just have our sort of rest for the day being, scrolling through YouTube at the end of the day or laying on our side in bed going through Twitter or whatever it might be, To have those times be truly set aside to just be with God in prayer. The noise of technology, can just distract us so much. So to even put our phones or whatever that we have in a different room, because just the knowledge of having that technology in our pocket can just distract us from being able to fully immerse ourselves in prayer with God. Technology needs to give way to that silence in which we can hear the Lord speak to us, in which we can hear this peace that He wants to give us that we heard about in our second reading. We need to be able to have that time of silent prayer with God, And I'd say that there's never been a time where I've, spent, an extended time in just silent prayer and meditation and contemplation, and I've thought afterwards, well, that was a waste of time, But every time that I push it off and I say, well, no, I'm too busy today, I can't do it, I regret doing that. I look back and I say, man, if I would have just carved out a little bit of time, 5, 10, 15 minutes, however it would have been, my day would have been so much better if I would have focused it by starting it by resting with God. You never regret a time of that silent personal prayer, but we regret when we don't get it in. And so carving out those little bits of time to steal away to be with our beloved, to be with the Lord, taking those 5 minutes in the morning, waking up just a little bit earlier, staying up just 5 minutes later to just rest in God, taking those times, just those little bits throughout the day to just have everything slow down, to say, okay, this is my time to rest with God. This is my time to be with him, to go away to a deserted place, to ignore everything else that's going on, and to just be with him in prayer. St. Augustine says, our hearts are restless until they rest in God. Our hearts are made for God, and we'll always be restless. We'll always have anxiety. We'll always feel too busy. We'll never quite be at rest until we find those times to rest with him.